Hello and welcome to Foundation Yoga and our Yoga for Cyclists course. This is our 5th week in our recovery yoga practice. Our goal as always is to open up your hips and your shoulders and your front body and do a little bit of twisting with our spine to make recovery more possible and make it a little bit easier after a ride and during rest days. If you are looking for more information, go to Simple Endurance Coaching, where I've got a lot of other information about yoga, endurance training, and strength training. So we will start in a child's pose and have your knees on the outside of the mat, your big toes together, and sink your hips back towards your heels. And when you feel like you've gotten as far as you're going to go, you can move your hips back and forth, extend your arms. You can feel a little bit of a pull in your back. Inhale and exhale. We'll just spend a minute, well, not quite a minute, but a little less, just moving around, opening things up a little bit. And then we'll slowly extend your hands and slowly come in to either a cobra or a sphinx pose. So a sphinx is down on your elbows. And I hear Joy, the assistant dog, barking at some imaginary thing. So the goal here is simply to open up our chest, lengthen your spine. And if you feel like you can, come on up into a cobra so that you can bring your shoulder blades together. Move back and forth as you need to. Rotate your hips. Good. Push yourself back into a tabletop position, and we'll do a couple of cows and cats. And the cow is when you are dropping your belly, sticking your butt up, bringing your head up, and arching your back as much as you can. And the cat, which you do on the exhale, is the opposite, where you're arching your back backwards or up, dropping your hips, looking back through your legs to see your toes, and then inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. And one more. Good, and we'll do just an easy thread the needle from a puppy pose. Joy is very good at this. So in puppy pose, you keep your hips just where they are and come into essentially a child's pose. And so if you have a dog, you see your dog stretching like this all the time. And this is really good for opening up your shoulders, opening up your front body. And from here, take your left arm and bring it up. And if you need to bring your elbow down, you're just going to try to bring our left shoulder down on the mat. So this is our first twist. Of our, primarily your upper spine. Good, and then bring that through. Good, come back up. Bring a leg up, a knee up rather, bring your left foot up. And we'll do just a quick lunge to open up, start opening up this particular hip flexor. And again, you're using that Breathing, inhaling, relaxing, and exhaling, coming farther into the pose. Bring your right hand down to the mat, and let's do a full twist. Opening up your shoulders in a dragonfly twist. Good, and then come down, push back. On your breathing, come into a camel pose where your fists are behind and you're going to open up as much as you can. If you're able to get a hold of your ankles, otherwise doing camel just like this. Good. And then come bring your right foot up, and we'll do a few of those lunges. And inhale up and exhale back down. So your goal again is to have your knee roughly over your ankle, and you should be feeling this in your left hip flexors. All right, good. Then we're going to come into a plank pose, and this is kind of an odd twist. And the goal is to do some work with your outer IT band. Okay, so the idea is that you're in a plank, and we're going to kick my left leg out a little bit so that my foot is pretty straight, but you'll feel this right away. And the goal is that you're going to feel it basically from your hip all the way down your IT band, the outside of your knee, and you're just going to let your hip fall a little bit and fall. You're just trying to loosen up the fascia around the muscles, around the IT, through the IT band. Good. Then bring that back, and we'll bring it to the right side. And you will find that one side is tighter than the other. This hip doesn't want to release at all. So I'm just going to relax into it. There we go. Good. Then I'm going to ask you, it's not a very good transition here, but we're going to stand up and we're going to come into a extended side angle pose. So this is one of the warrior base ones, so that your back foot is at an angle and your front knee is bent. And so you have some options here with a side angle, but what I'm going to ask you is that the goal of this is a twist and opening up your front body. So one way of doing this is to open up your hand to the ceiling and trying to drop your backhand. So again, you're going to inhale and lengthen your spine, and exhale, rotate. And rotate your shoulders. Don't worry about your hips. Good, and then come up. Roll your feet around, so now your left foot is at an angle and your right foot is coming forward. And we'll do the extended side angle on this side. And, oh boy. And extend your arm up. Right arm is going towards the ground, so you got a twist. You got some work happening in both legs. This is just a great recovery opener. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, rotate out. Good, and then come on up. Make your way to a seated position, and our last pose for this recovery is a sage pose, and we've done something like this before, so this is going to be a little bit different simply because of how we twist. So you're going to bring your right left leg over to on the right side here. And bring your knee, your elbow inside or outside of your knee, and keep this all steady. And we're just gonna try to twist and open up a little bit. So the goal is to be up on your sit bones as much as you can. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Now, if you're really brave or flexible, you can bring this foot back, and this is what we've practiced in the past, and coming up here and twisting. Whoa. Good, and this is a much deeper twist of your lower spine, your lumbar spine. So be judicious and don't twist too hard. Inhale and look behind you. Good, and then come to the other side. Extend your left leg, bring your right foot over. I did do that backwards. So we'll take a seat and we'll come into a sage pose, which is going to be similar to some things we've done before, but it gets at a little bit more of a lumbar spine twist. So let's bring your right foot over your left leg, and we're going to bring your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Right, and then from here, whoa, hello. We're going to try to get that elbow as far around as possible. And you will definitely feel this in your hip and your lower back. Just be careful. If you feel like you can, I'm not sure that I would be able to, you can bring this foot around, yeah. And this is what we were practicing before in the pose, but you can also just wrap around. This is a great example of how the pose looks versus how the pose feels. And right now, I'm sure I'm looking like I've tangled myself up, but what I'm feeling is a good twist in my lower spine and a lot of pull happening in my right hip and glutes. And it's a pretty deep movement. And as I inhale and exhale, it's definitely starting to release in this glute. So it kind of becomes a different pose when I bring my knee in. So play that entirely by what is comfortable for you. Stay like this, wrap your arm around, bring your elbow inside your knee, whichever works for you. Let's go to the other side. And bring the elbow around. And you'll remember each side is going to be different. Definitely is different on this side. Good. All right, that's it for Recovery Yoga for Cyclists this week. I appreciate your presence. As we talked about earlier, we will end our practice simply with Namaste, which is a simple way of acknowledging our gratitude that we were able to practice today, that we were able to move the way that we can, and that we were able to today. So bring your arms up overhead, hands to heart center, and be grateful for what we were able to do and how we were able to move today. Namaste. Thank you again for joining me for this Yoga for Cyclists course. This is our 5th week. We have one more week to go in the course. If you have questions or comments or feedback, please contact me with the email or go to my website, Simple Endurance Coaching. So if you have questions about strength training, endurance training, or yoga, please get a hold of me and let's talk. All right. Thanks. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.